Yo, welcome to the Full Charge Power Hour. I'm Matt Fulcheron. I'm here with Bryan Erwin. Patreon.com/The Full Charge. I'm actually going to New Orleans. I'm doing a show with Felipe Esparza.
Okay.
And that means the in-laws are finally coming to see old Matty do what he does.
So you hadn't performed in that area since you guys have gathered?
I have performed in that area, and I told my family, my in-laws, I said, hey, don't come to this show.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just, first of all, New Orleans isn't really a comedy town. They like to, and I know from experience, they like to like shout at you or whatever, participate, guess the punchline.
Yeah.
They're that type of.
It's called Matt and Friends, even though the Friends part wasn't on the. Okay, got it.
They're used to music, and they're used to the party.
Yeah.
It's all good. It really has little to do with New Orleans. It has to do with the fact that you got one shot. You got mom's spaghetti on your sweater already. All that shit. You got one thing, and then it's Christmas time, and listen, I don't want to think negatively about it anymore, but I just don't enjoy performing in front of in-laws.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's never ideal, right?
Yeah.
Because perspective is skewed.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And they don't even mean anything by it. It just is.
Right.
So why'd you choose this one? Because you felt like you had pushed it off long enough.
I didn't choose anything. Yeah, the underlying concept is I already did the, hey, don't come to this one.
Okay.
But it really got away from me very quickly. I mean, I was like, yeah, I got some work in New Orleans, and my wife was just on the phone.
She went full agent?
She just went, boom, I got great news for everybody. And so I don't know.
Sold out.
I'm not even nervous about it anymore. It's like, honestly, I've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
Because, it has a lot to do with the fact that I just went to the Borgata in Atlantic City, and that's not an easy gig. And they had me close it out, and I was just like, Kenny Powers, dude. Like, I knew how to do it. Like, I just, it's good to have a certain amount of respect for what could go wrong at a comedy show. But that doesn't mean you have to assume that it probably will, because I just got so many skills and so much experience that even if I think it sucked, it's probably not going to be that bad.
I can help you. I'll give you some perspective so that you can know how low the bar can go for you before you ever have to worry about it. So when I first started stand-up, I was married to somebody else, and I'll never forget. I told her I was going to do some stand-up, and she reluctantly went, and she sat kind of in the middle of the room, not in the front, in the middle. And I'll never forget, I was on stage, and thankfully at that time I was doing really well. And I could see her sitting in the middle of it all, arms crossed, not a fucking emotion on her face. And I knew at that moment I was getting divorced. And I did get divorced. But I knew it was over. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I was actually doing something I loved. Yeah. It was going well. Yeah. And I noticed that my marriage was over.
Right.
It was over. I saw it in her face.
That's movie shit.
Yeah.
That's cinematic.
So there you go. It will never be that bad.
No, there's a couple of things that like really put the perspective on. One was early in my career when I was just doing like book shows, like bringer shows. And this girl I was dating showed up without telling me she was going to show up, but she brought her parents.
Okay.
But we weren't boyfriend, girlfriend. We were just like casually dating.
Well, apparently you were. You just didn't know it.
I also had, this is my fault. I also had another girl I was dating there. So I was like, really, I forgot that part of it.
Wait, so that one was invited.
I was more embarrassed that I was, I wasn't bombing. It was just that one, that's when you're uncomfortable.
Did you know it before you went up?
No. So I'm just like dealing with all this stuff. Like I was unprepared for it. I was like a year or two in. Not even really. You don't even realize you're not even in because you're just doing open mics and bringers, and you don't realize that you're not even a professional yet.
No, you're just saying things.
Yeah. And, that really bugged me out. Another thing that happened was, I used to MC at the Improvs almost like 3 years into my career, the California Improvs. Okay. And I used to just roll in there and just crush. And so I went to do Cleveland, Ohio, and Baltimore Improvs, just MCing. And I was like, well, I want like family to see this. The Cleveland one went great, like really great. And then the Baltimore, Maryland, like I had barely done the road, so I didn't know the nuances of different towns. I'm from Baltimore, so I figured that's just an automatic good fit. And I just remember my mom came to see me with her friends, and it was just like so embarrassing, like no one was laughing. And my brother's future wife was in the audience, but she didn't say anything to me, so I wasn't sure if it was her or not. But it was like a couple people from high school, like in the front row. And I was just kind of eating a dick. And it was just like the whole Baltimore week was kind of a nightmare for me. And I don't think I've ever really recovered from that. Not to mention...
Wait, with the family? Like they still...
No. They never said anything nasty. It was just... Or like critical.
Right.
You know, they were actually very supportive. My mom was like, I thought you were the best one. We didn't like the other ones. And they didn't. They didn't like the other ones, even though they got way more laughs than me.
Yeah.
It's probably why my mom didn't like them.
That's fine.
But I just, that was never lost on me. That, it's probably a lot easier and a lot more fun if nobody I know is in the audience.
Well, it always is.
It always is.
Because what's one of the greatest challenges of doing stand-up comedy is getting up in front of a bunch of people you've never met before, right?
Right.
They don't know you.
Right.
You don't know them. And you're about to rock them.
Yeah.
That's the tap in the vein.
That's the tap in the vein, and it's also how the presentation gets created. Yeah. I don't know you. Yeah. That's why I'm going to say these terrible things.
Right. Exactly. When it's like, I know we all know each other here. Like if you start off that way.
If I was doing a show for my mom and her friends, I'd do a bunch of jokes, assuming they already knew me, and jokes about the neighborhood.
Which brings up a good point, because you've done specials before. And I often wonder where people, when they do their specials, when they go back home and they do the specials, one has to wonder which one's better, right? Big city special, right? Which is hard in its own way. Going home and performing in front of family, which is hard in its own way, and small townish, if you will.
Right.
And then somewhere in the middle, which is pick a club or pick a city that you do really well in all the time and do it there. What do you think?
You're talking about taping a special?
Yeah, if you're going to do a special.
Taping a special is always better than any show going. Once you can get past the nerves and all of it, which theoretically I have, the best part about taping a special, and I'm not talking about a late night appearance, I'm talking about an actual special that's going to go on cable or YouTube nowadays, is that you don't have to worry about the audience at all, and you can just play to the cameras.
Okay.
So you can actually just not worry about how the material is going to go over. Just say it, do it how you want it to look, with all the confidence in the world and all the smiling and obnoxious as you want to be, and then you get to edit it. Okay. The audience is obsolete.
But you want them to.
You want them, but you know what I did on my half-hour special? I was used to touring with Tosh and killing. I had to leave the tour to go tape my half-hour special. And so I knew that audience at the special wasn't giving me what they were supposed to be giving me. And I called an audible about 2.5 minutes in.
Okay.
And I go, I see a lot of unhappy faces in the audience and a lot of people just not going along with this. I go, this is my special and I don't need you. And I'm doing whatever I want
You
up
said
here.
that?
I did.
I love it.
And they were my bitches after that.
Okay.
I just, if you watch the special, they obviously cut that out.
Right.
I wish they didn't, because they're kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
But if you watch it, it's a little tight, and then it's just the door is busted wide open.
Meaning you won them over by calling them out.
I won them over by telling them they ain't shit. And that's all anybody in New York City wants to hear.
That's funny. So that's where
I'm better than you.
So that's where you did that.
It's my show.
You did that one in New York City.
Yeah.
So you're saying it doesn't matter. So the idea of what venue you choose, whether it's I'm going to go back to my hometown, that's all part of the story that you want to tell for it itself. It doesn't really make or break the actual
I have
special.
no hometown to perform in. There's no venue. There's no comedy club.
Yeah.
I can maybe find a theater or something, but not interested.
Yeah.
So let's say that's the worst. And then, and by default, just a random place and say like Syracuse, somewhere in the middle, enjoyment-wise. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And you kind of do have to, you have to cater, but you definitely have to appreciate what they're interested in talking about.
Right.
Or how they're responding. Because it is their show and they paid. The older you get, the more you realize these people deserve at least to be respected.
Yeah. Because they pay
You
for
can
their
you can
respect.
say things that disrespect their philosophies on life, but you then have to say like, "Hey, I can tell this audience doesn't like it," and then have a joke about that. Keep it funny, keep it light. It ain't art at the shopping mall. I'm sorry. It's art when you're writing. The performance of it is art.
Yeah.
But like this whole like win the crowd over to my way of thinking, I don't do that shit anyway, really.
Right.
But unless that's your thing. But I like the audience to be happy nowadays. In my insecurities, I used to be in my youth be like, fuck them. But that was only after I found out. At first I thought everyone would just love my comedy.
Right.
Then you start to get successful and you start to travel and you realize, oh, people aren't going to like it just because my parents think I'm cute and I'm putting in the effort and I have all this shit memorized.
It is true. And that's the thing about why you have to do it for so long is because you have to go through these peaks and valleys. And most comedians would probably admit to the fact, and you just did, is that you get to a point where you end up having, no matter whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time, an adversarial relationship with the audience because you believe you're here and they're not giving it to you. And you're like, no. I don't think you understand. Right. And so it becomes adversarial. And then you have to realize that's not how it really works.
Yeah.
You can still be true to yourself. You're like, this is what my comedy is going to be.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to do it.
100.
But you have to understand what comes with that. And then you have to understand, like you said, the nuances of where you're at and how to work a room.
Yeah. And I also gotten to the point where like it became my job. So I started to dread it like a job. Yeah. And that was bad too. That doesn't mean like every show was terrible, but like if it was a drag of a show, I'd be like, well, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten to the point now where, you know, I'd be getting late night spots at the Comedy Store and then also doing like a casino gig at the Atlantic City. And I've gotten to the point where I prefer the casino gig at Atlantic City because I'm on within the hour of the show starting and I can just kind of do my jokes without having to renegotiate every minute and a half for their attention.
Right.
I was at the Comedy Store. I get up. I get on stage at like 12:30. There's a certain amount of people that immediately just get up and walk out based on sight. Now there's like 5 people hanging out in that little hallway talking. Yeah. There's no security. They don't want it to be security. They don't want to control the room. And it's just like, you know, for that 3 minutes, you're like, what the fuck is the point of this shit? Luckily, again, I'm skilled enough and seasoned enough to be like, just go. Do the good jokes. Get loose. Do the improv part of it. Just fucking be in the moment. Oh, it's so difficult. It's a good thing those spots are only 15 minutes long because there's so much work.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, you remember Nipsey Russell? Do you know who that guy is?
Mm-hmm.
He used to open up for Sinatra and stuff like that. And when I first started, he did say one thing. He's like, the one thing comics always have to be mindful of is don't focus too much on what's not going for you.
Yeah.
And if there are people they're giving you,
go
with them.
That's so
They're
funny.
saying, over here, buddy.
Yeah.
We're over here. And he said, there's something in you that still wants to go over to those motherfuckers in the back room. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, don't feed it.
Yeah.
Just find the ones that are with you and just stay there.
I did the happy medium on Saturday night. I was apologizing to the people who were listening. Like, yeah, listen, I have a mental illness. I should just be concentrating on you, but this shit drives me crazy. And I was telling one guy, I'm like, stop getting up and walking around. Sit down. You're driving me crazy. It was fun, though. It turned into like a really fun show because I also kept a good attitude. Like, I used to lose a good attitude because I'd walk up there with a bad attitude because I just started to get so insecure, I think, at a certain point. Yeah. You know? But I've skipped over all that. I've worked through all that. Thank God.
It's called appreciation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Us guys in their 50s with all their appreciation and shit.
Because you go through like a year or like half a year where like you ain't really doing shit. And like, so, okay, if they are going to give me stage time, I'm going to appreciate it. And I'm going to do it for the venue. I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to do it for the audience. I went up in front of 6 people in Brooklyn on Monday or Tuesday. And I go, I went up first and I go, there was only 6 people in the audience. And I go, listen, a lot of comics are going to come up here and they're going to shit on the fact that there's nobody here. I want you to all say in unison, we're the ones that showed up, asshole. So I flipped sides. I became like one with the audience, you know?
That's funny.
I've also, to get back to this this in-law thing, I've come through so many times. Like her cousin came to see me in New York. Her uncle came to see me in New York. Her other cousin came to see me in DC. Like I keep pulling it off. And then it's all, you're not done yet. You still have to pull it off again.
But that's better because I
know
because
it's better.
they're outside of their comfort zone, which is hometown.
Yeah.
They're seeing you
Yeah.
out in your environment.
Yeah. Totally.
You're in their environment when you go back, when you're there.
Well, the DC one was kind of awesome because I was in the cousin's environment.
That's where that's where all the...
I opened for Joey Diaz at the 930 Club, which is a legendary rock club in DC. And I'm just sitting there talking to my wife and her cousin, and they just call my name because it's not a comedy venue. It's not as cut and dry where like it's not clear they're starting the show. And then I'm climbing all the way up on this music stage, and I just fucking killed for like 25 minutes. It's pretty dope. But now to the point where like it's acceptance. It's like it is what it is, and as long as you like, I've also learned as long as you like keep smiling in the corners of your mouth. And don't get upset, like you're all right. You're always going to be all right because then you're delivering your jokes with joy, and they're well-written jokes, and I know them, and like I got the right kind of disarm. Like I'm good at this. Like I'm finally realizing like I'm fucking good at this. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know.
Look, man, we've all been around enough comedy and enough famous people. I'll never forget the time Robin Williams popped in at the Comedy Store once, and he just got heckled mercilessly on the main stage to where he had to stop the show. And he's like, I've won Academy Awards. I've done some stuff. Maybe let me just do my thing up here. And I was like, dude had to stop people and tell them to shut the fuck up. Robin Williams.
I know. And that there's nobody bigger at the time you saw him. He was a bona fide movie star, internationally known, and everyone knows that he does stand-up comedy. And they had a chance to see it, and they couldn't give a fuck.
No, they didn't understand the unique nature of what was taking place in front of them, to where they still had to shout out "Nanu Nanu" and all this other dumbass heckle shit,
dude.
Right? Like you always talk about, like they wanted to become the show. It's like, that's Robin Williams. You don't need to be a part of the show today.
Yeah,
you're gonna be just fine in this one.
That's why I read an article. It's funny, like, so he always had to deal with, we all always had to deal with that. One of his jokes was he would pick up the mic stand and, like, put it in the audience. He's like, I'm fishing for assholes. And then Jerry Seinfeld in that movie Comedian, that documentary, he played Caroline's, or no, it was something in New Jersey. And he was just like, how fucking big do you have, he cursed, how fucking big do you have to be for people to shut up and pay attention? There is no big. This was in the late 90s, like right after Seinfeld went off the air. Biggest show maybe ever culturally. It's still in reruns. Yeah. It's still referenced. Yeah. I'm talking about it right now.
I guess my point is there's always going to be misery attached to the great killing success.
There's always going to be tough to do a live performance because it's unpredictable and out of your control, and that's actually why it's great. Because if you watch stand-up on TV, it's fucking boring, no matter how good it is.
So this is why, and I'm just going to turn to the camera, and I'm going to talk to Matt's in-laws and all of his cousins and his family. Yeah. And this is why you have to understand the totality of what live performance is and just appreciate no matter how it goes for him.
Sorry. Live performance, baby. Anything can happen. Thank you for that talk. That was nice, and I appreciate what you said. I was like holding in the burp, and then I'm like, oh, this would be funny.
No, it's perfect timing.
This is a comedy podcast.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Aaron, can we talk to Craig Coleman, who we miss dearly? He hasn't been here a couple episodes. And
forcing Matt to spend way too much time with Uncle Pappy over here.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I said that.
I like.
Do we want to have the who's more insecure battle? Instead of
Yeah.
roast battles, we could do insecure battles.
It's a rolling presentation. I just like when I have both you guys here. It's like it just fucking flows. Chemistry is everything.
And can I also say, Craig, his laughter makes you feel so fucking good.
You're supported. He's the glue.
So good.
He's the
if
glue.
you win Craig, you've won the day.
Oh man, I can do anything with Craig Coleman. I can do a podcast for 12 years.
On and off, on and off, on and off.
Wait till we lean into our right wing thing. Like right when it's over. That's a joke, folks. Before the show started, we were talking about how disappointed we are in so many people that we're just not right wingers.
No.
What can we tell you?
Some of them,
I'm a little disgusted by
some
the whole
people
movement.
we know are just taking the easy way out.
Mhm.
That's just the sad reality of it.
And we lost so many listeners when we hated Trump. Did
you, though?
We lost. I look at the numbers.
No, I don't mean it that way.
So oh yeah, no, I mean like, yeah, but it would have been nice if it never came to this. Like if we never had the Trump, and we never had the argument, it would have been so much better. But listen, that's a fantasy world. I don't think people knew they wanted it either. I think they were like, "Oh, this is fucking interesting," and they went with it.
It goes back to what you were saying earlier. I don't remember if it was on or off air, but just saying that there was a time where people didn't talk about everything in their personal life as far as like who they voted for and the religious beliefs and all that stuff. They just were the person that you knew.
Yeah.
And you were the person they knew, and that's how we all rolled as a society. Now we all wear that shit like badges, right? It's just.
And there's screaming.
It gets in the way.
There's screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
I got backed up against a hot stove in Kentucky, Paducah, Kentucky, by an in-law uncle, just like fucking yelling about San Francisco, like right in my face. I was like, I don't know, dude. Let's have some turkey.
Defend San Francisco. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, doesn't
Craig
need to be a hot take show. Hey,
there he is with us. We were just talking about how much we miss you, bro. What's going on?
All right, good talk. Thanks for joining.
Now we can hear you.
Hey, we were just talking about how much we miss you, dude. We thought you were ignoring us just now.
I miss you guys too.
You calling us from your home studio?
Yeah, the car.
What's been going on, man?
I've just been working at Union Station.
Yeah. You're home away from home.
Hold on. Here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
This feels like when I give my dad tech support on his iPad. Here we go.
All right. There we fucking go.
Well, no, you're actually frozen now, but that's...
there
good.
It is. We're good.
Oh.
All right. And we're back.
Now, if you could just do us a favor, and this is only for the people that are watching on YouTube, if you could just raise the camera up a little more so all we see is your forehead, that'd be great. There we go.
How's that?
All right. And we're back.
Well, my face isn't that great, so there's no need to see it that much.
We're just talking about how much we miss you and how much we love your fucking face, Craig.
Yeah.
So you put the camera however you like it, but I love the sight of you, man. I'll even take it on 16:9 or whatever this format is.
It's I don't know what we would consider this format.
Aaron, what's the name of this format?
I have no idea.
Okay. Turns out I'm the most tech person here. Well, no.
Let's call it 2x4, like 2 inches by 4 inches. Like it's more like a.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's either 16:9 or 19:6.
It's more like a 19.6.
Could you try tilting your phone, Craig? Tilt it sideways.
Go cinematic, Craig.
Yeah,
go cinematic. Okay, there it is.
Yeah. We can do a widescreen.
You're a goddamn Christopher Nolan movie now, dude. You look great.
So that's
right.
That's what's so funny is when we had Cliff Cash on last week, he had it vertical too, but then when he turned it, it was just a sideways vertical, right? You know what I mean? It never went widescreen, so he just had to keep it at vertical.
Yeah.
We got technology here in Los Angeles.
I stepped up and got the 14, iPhone 14, baby.
Oh, you got a new phone?
A while ago. We had the iPhone 8, and I was going to ride that shit out till the end of the world, but unfortunately, the salesman hit me up when my wife was with me, and so we went for the upgrade.
Well, also, you end up with a phone that can't do half the stuff it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
And then you accidentally download some new technology that can't fit on it.
Yep.
And now you can't have any apps.
Right.
And now you're that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't Uber. I actually have to call a cab. But my telephone app doesn't work either. Do you have a landline?
Yeah.
All this thing
Like
does
a
is
landline.
GPS. All this thing does is Twitter, so I can look at it and get mad all day.
Exactly.
There you go.
What kind of hours? What kind of hours you working, Craig? See you later. I don't want to talk about it.
Why are you asking tough questions like that, dude? I don't have time for that.
We might have to go to Wendell soon anyway because I told him 3:30.
So does he get worked up if we don't?
He gets worked up about
Okay, all right.
anything.
Whatever it
So
takes.
I guess maybe Aaron, if we could try Craig one more time and just say goodbye.
Well, he can hop back on the same link.
Oh, okay. Oh, can we get 2 Zooms at once?
Yeah.
All right. Can we go to Eric Wendell, please?
Learning all about technology.
Thanks for coming out to rehearsal, everybody. We think we're going to have a great podcast for you.
This episode's
We're gonna-
called Matt's going to spend hours upon hours editing.
We're going to start taping in about 10 minutes. And the cameras and the audio is working. Poor Wendell, he works crazy hours too. I called him at 3.
Airport or production?
Okay.
All right.
All right. We're back.
What do we got?
I'm back.
All right.
Oh, there you
All
are.
right, good.
Okay.
I just realized we're running a little late. And we can keep you on. Do you want to hang out and talk to Wendell?
Oh, sure.
Do you have that kind of time? Because, what kind of... fuck, you're already in rush hour. You might as well hang out.
Yeah, I'm already fucked. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good.
I feel like a wartime correspondent right now.
Well, you basically are at Union Station, right?
Yeah, we're in Fallujah. It's not good. I can tell you that. It is not good. I just saw Satan crossing the street.
Have the hours been insane, or is this just an easy day for you?
No, it has been insane. It's been pretty stupid. Saturday there was a Indian wedding. I don't know if you know anything about Indian weddings, but they last like 5 fucking days.
Yeah.
This one, they had 2 ceremonies.
Wow.
Each ceremony had about 400 people, and I wanted to just pull them aside and go, really? You think you know 800 fucking people? No. 800 people? No.
Now, you said...
You know 35 people, and the rest of everybody could give a shit about this.
You do know that weddings are, if you're going to do a big wedding, it's just a show. You had a medium-sized wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't go to yours, Craig, so I don't know how big yours was. My second one was just family. No show.
So you're saying the first one was better?
I'm not walking into that trap.
Ours wasn't great. I can tell you that. It wasn't the best.
Was it at like an Elks Lodge? You were young.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But was it big?
No, it was maybe 30 people.
Okay.
Because, it was in Alaska, and most of my friends were all in bands, and
Right.
nobody had money.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was super fun, right?
But it was fun, and it was pretty punk rock, so there was that.
And you guys were so young. It was like all that love.
Yeah.
All that dreamy, dreamy love. It was fun.
Yeah, we were young and fucking stupid, so yeah, it was
or
good.
love.
And,
You guys are still together.
all in that way.
You guys are still together, though.
Still together.
So you can't really call
Yeah.
that stupid.
Yeah, still together. I claim poverty keeps people together because it's hard to pay rent on your own. So
But
I'm sure she would have probably left a long time ago if there was a good chunk of cash. You'd have been like, you know what? I'm just taking half of this and I'm going to Oregon or something. See you later.
I didn't say it was time to redo your vows, buddy. I'm just no, but you were also in Alaska, so you had to lock that shit down well before 30.
Oh, absolutely. And again, it was my band days, so it was never going to get better than that.
Right.
Okay.
If I would have just moved to LA, like all hope would have been lost.
So you were just checking off your bucket list early because of your circumstances. You were like, this is my high point. I better collect everything I can right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was never gonna get a cooler, prettier girl than the one I married anywhere else.
That is a guys talking to guys way of saying he was in love.
Yeah.
The man was in love.
Now, which hairdo did you have back then?
Oh, pretty much the one I have now. Like my wife,
Okay.
Karen, much later saw a picture of me with dreadlocks, and she goes, "Yeah, it would have never happened, not in a million years." She goes, "You know what?" She goes, "I wouldn't even have went and smoked weed with you. I wouldn't have went to your house. We wouldn't have been friends."
But you actually have good hair for dreadlocks. You're not like the white guy at the Grateful Dead show. You actually have hair that makes like real dreadlocks, right?
I actually did have curly hair that turned into decent dreadlocks, but at the same time, it did look ridiculous.
Yeah, and you still have all your hair, so this is still a possibility.
Yeah.
I love this for you.
If I wanted to, I could grow it out.
Yes. Okay. It's nice to have the option, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's true.
You have density.
True.
Density is so important as you get older.
I'm down to short and grown out needing a haircut. Those are my two looks. You know what I mean? I can't get too more creative than that.
Yeah, I'm just frayed spiderwebs that requires hats.
You know?
So
hats are a good look, though.
yeah, I agree. Did I see Wendell popping in and out of there during
this? Let's talk to Wendell and see.
Just wear a hat and grow out your beard like a madman. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Unabomber it.
The beard, Craig. I don't know if you've seen the beard. Can you see it right now? The beard has gotten so thick.
Yeah.
And constructed, like it looks like a snap-on. Yeah. And it looks it looks like better every week. He looks like a Lego guy, like a Lego man.
It does. It looks like it doesn't move.
No. That's true. When you have to put the fake ones on for like a movie or whatever, and you don't know how to talk because it's kind of stiff on your face. You talking about that kind of beard? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Wendell, do you normally wake up at 3 o'clock? And I'm not making fun of you. I know you work crazy hours.
Yeah. 2:30 or 3.
Yeah.
Because, well, my schedule has changed like fucking 3 or 4 times in the last couple of months. It's just been terrible. And I'm trying these different earbuds, so you'll have to let me know if this sounds better, because I think I'm using the mic from the iPad and not these plug-in ones.
It sounds crystal clear.
Sounds good.
So good.
Okay.
We should have this conversation about 6 months ago. That's my bad. Every time I'm editing this podcast, I'm like, oh, I got to talk to Wendell. And then I make like a bunch of clips and I'm like, what time's the next taping? And then it just gets away from me. But everything, I think listen, look at the technology we have nowadays. We used to have the worst production in podcasting.
Right.
And now we're close to the best. We have all this technology. It's so fun. Like to take this moment to thank Aaron for showing up every week and doing such a great job.
Take a bow, Aaron.
Yeah.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
I mean, realistically, I would have thought these $300 Bose state-of-the-art Bluetooth earbuds would be better, but I mean, I guess you don't always get what you pay for,
No, they're just not better for this. They're better for your listening. They're probably better for an actual phone conversation because they are louder, but they're kind of like, they're tinny is my best description.
Okay.
But we're all good.
I just need like a regular microphone like you guys have.
Yeah, I need to set you up. I just never have enough time to go down to Torrance and back.
Yeah.
It's just right around the corner.
Yeah, you just need a studio. That's all. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
that's no big deal.
Build yourself a studio. I think we got an All Things Comedy studio down in Hermosa Beach. Why don't you go over there?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's not that far. I could really do that if that's actually legitimate.
We do not have one.
Not.
This is it.
It's on the wish list.
We are doing a bunch of free shows out of this studio, which means we don't have 2 studios.
Hey, the good news is if you come down here to bring a microphone, you can help me do some drive-bys, strip a couple cars out front, smoke a pound of weed with the neighbors.
I would love to smoke a pound of weed with you. I would love for the 4 of us to go down to Torrance, sit in your apartment, First of all, just get a good look at that apartment. And then and get high all day and order El Pollo Loco on Uber Eats. Tell me that doesn't sound great.
Yeah.
I mean, as you can see from where I'm sitting, there's room for about 3 other people, and then we're going to be right next to each other, like basically holding hands because it's so small.
Are you in your
Sounds
bedroom
Yeah.
/ kitchen / bathroom right now?
No.
okay.
My bedroom. Where am I sitting? My bedroom is on the left side of is to my right.
Do you have a I Love Lucy, the bed comes out of the wall thingy?
No. I have an actual bedroom.
Okay.
It is, this is my living room. My bedroom is right over here to my right. I do have a kitchen behind me where that curtain is. It's a very small kitchen. But yeah, no, it's not a studio. It's a 1-bedroom.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Hashtag Torrance.
Yeah.
A friend of ours
That's life.
got drunk, and she wants to call you and encourage you to get a Russian mail order bride. Would you be interested in that type of thing? I told her you wouldn't.
I'm not sure how, I don't know how that would work.
I can tell you.
Craig?
She'll come over. She'll be beautiful.
Uh-huh.
She'll be cool. She'll lay it down. She'll lock it down. And then she'll bring over her whole family, and they'll be mafia affiliated. And you'll be afraid for the rest of your life.
But you will
That sounds wonderful.
But you will be getting laid
Right.
for 6 months.
That's all that should matter.
But I'm telling you, she'll be hot as shit, dude. And you'll love it.
I
She'll
almost
be like, Eric, if you want the pussy, you bring the money, yes?
I had this scenario where I don't know if I told you this before, but it was I was just 30 years old. I was in New Jersey. The family was there, and it was my grandfather's house, and he had a caretaker, and everybody went to bed, and the caretaker was like, I want you to go to Georgia, which is, an Eastern European country, and marry my daughter and bring her to the States, and I'll pay you $7,000. And I was
How much?
$7,000 in 2003. You got to assume
Sure.
personally, I'm about $6,980 short of that in my own bank account. So it did sound like a lot of money to me.
Okay.
The credit card companies I was working with, they'd have been happy with a couple minimum payments as well.
Yeah.
And I said no out of instinct, but I go, but let's keep in touch. Because a couple things. I wanted the $7,000. You also knew she was going to be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes, but
I want
a couple more beers, I might be talking into it.
I want to give you, but I also knew at that time, I kind of had this Murphy's Law kind of mentality of my life, which was like, buddy, you're not coming home from Georgia. I had this a healthy, I don't know if you want to call it negative, but an anticipation of things could go wrong. And, you don't want to get stuck somewhere where you're not from. You don't know what kind of rights you have. You don't speak the language. It'd have been a nightmare. But also a nightmare was my entire family would know that I did this. And you just never live that down.
You were doing
Right.
all you had just said, you were doing somebody a kind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you are right. I think we'd be having a completely different conversation had you done it. It would have turned out that you would have gotten over there. You would have somehow or another found out that you were going to be muling drugs back here.
Something.
You end up turning into some sort of espionage movie.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, Wendell is reviewing it because your story was made into a Netflix movie.
Right.
And he would only give it 2.5 ice cream trucks, dude.
Yeah. It wasn't
That
even
would have been
good.
your life would have been a 2.5 ice cream truck review from Wendell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
You'd wake up minus the kidney. After a drinking party, you'd wake up like, what's this scar from? and they'd be like, "Here's your share of kidney. You get $200."
And I got to tell you, right after that, like almost because it was Christmas 2004. I meet this other woman in New York, go back to Los Angeles. We're dating. It was kind of fun dating her, kind of horrible. Point was she was attractive, which is always fun when you're young. And then my career starts working out in Los Angeles. I get passed at the Comedy Store. I start working the improvs. I get in the HBO festival. I get on Craig Ferguson. This all happens. None of that shit would have happened if I even had to meet with the government that much, or like live in New Jersey, or whatever the hell it was going to happen after that.
You're right.
Like, who is going to... And this woman would have been so disappointed with me. I was so broke.
Yeah,
You know, I'd be like,
that
honey,
is true.
welcome to America. We can't afford to eat. Can you imagine?
Right.
I was homeless. I was sleeping on someone's couch in New York.
Why did he pick you?
Because I don't tell people this
Wasn't
shit.
real. There's no way this is real. You would have died over
The
there.
proposition was
No,
real.
it's real.
No, meaning we don't know if it was real, do we?
But what Brian's talking about is like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have passed the first question. What's your address? Right? With the U.S. government.
Detained.
I got a phone number and I got a lot of debt. Does that count for anything?
Detained.
Trust me, she would have. Trust me, all they wanted was citizenship, bro.
Yeah.
She would
Can't get it if he's detained.
She would have moved. The whole family
No,
came
no, no,
over,
no, no.
dude. Trust me.
No, but
I've already seen it happen to people.
But there has to be the check-in with the government. Like, they have to come over your house. They have to interview you.
Yeah.
You have to look like you're in love. She's not going to be looking at me like she's in love.
Mr. and Mrs. Fultron, it would be nice if we didn't have to meet you guys in your car. Is there somewhere else we could
We live
have
here.
this conversation?
We live here.
Husband thinks he's comedian. He have no house. So
Seriously.
we live in car.
I had nothing to really point to that I was a comedian. I was like, I had a sitcom in development. No one bought it. I've got some paperwork to
You have
show
to
you.
say, bring out the paperwork.
I performed at Luna Park. Here's the VHS.
I remember getting an Uber ride from a woman once, and as she was talking to me, she's like, in my country, I'm a doctor. She's like, here, read these papers. It like shows you that I'm a doctor. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you think. I'm just a passenger here. You want me to review your doctor documents and see what I can do about getting you a doctor
Right,
job?
right.
Like, what are we doing here?
You're like, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, third house on the right. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean,
hey, doctor, taxi driver, fucking make a left.
Yeah, exactly.
oh, what a fun stroll down what could have been memory lane.
Yeah.
Thank God I was at least that smart. Thank God I was at least smart enough
you made
to say
the right
no.
choice. You made the right choice.
I got in the car.
There you
and
go, dude.
My family was my mom and my dad. We were going to drive to like the grocery store and the liquor store before dinner, and I get in the car and my mom just starts laughing because apparently the woman was like, I asked Matt if he would go to Georgia and marry my daughter, and he said no. Can you guys talk to him? And they're like, my mom's like, I'm not talking to him about that. He made his decision. I would talk to him if he made a different decision.
Yeah, I was gonna say your dad would be like, no way, dude, no way.
Oh shit.
That's
do you know where
too
she
damn
is? Do
funny.
you know what happened to her?
No, because my grandfather died a couple years later, and 1 year later actually, and it's one of those things that's funny to talk about, but you kind of want to pretend like you don't want to bring it up to the family. I also kind of feel bad for like the woman, like her daughter's in another country,
Right.
so
I'm sure it all worked out. She's
Yeah.
probably here somewhere.
probably
She found
is.
somebody.
She found somebody. Exactly.
Somebody married her daughter.
I later did find out that my brother was the first choice, but I just happened to be in the room.
And that's what I was going to say to you was that I hate to break it to you, but you were not the only one that they were talking to.
So my brother, but he
That's-
wasn't there. He was in California. Like, he wasn't even
That's
visiting.
awesome.
Yeah, so he had the job, the residence, the food in the refrigerator.
At least
She
it
saw
wasn't
the
a,
picture and she's like, "Who is this handsome devil? Huh?"
Collared
This
shirt,
devil.
huh?
Collar shirt.
All right, Wendell. Thank God my life isn't a movie. Let's get a movie review from you.
Yeah, I would expect you to be like Jason Bourne in this version of your visit to Georgia. Like, I need you to be doing, like, if you're not doing like some crazy Matt Damon moves, it's probably going to be 2.5 ice cream trucks, like Brian said.
At that point in my life, I'd be lucky if I could find the gate I was flying out of.
I will say all the action, though, Wendell, would have been, we'll ask you, does this bump up the ice cream trucks? Matt would have been on the run, but doing skateboard tricks the whole time because he was quite a skateboarder.
Ooh.
So
I'd watch that.
if you add that into it, right? He's
That
like a
definitely
Jason
bumps it
Bourne
up.
of skateboarders. What do you think?
That
That
sounds
definitely bumps it up.
like
Yeah.
a really good movie. If you're escaping from bad guys and drug dealers in a foreign country,
Yeah,
but you're still popping off like 360 kickflips
Yep.
just to keep the viewer entertained.
Every once in a while,
Right.
cracking a skull with the board because you had no choice.
The only way to get away from these guys is to do a crooked grind down 3 flights of stairs.
that's like,
the only way to do it.
that's when Steven Spielberg does one of those movies. He's like, the kids skateboard still? Is that still? Let's do that. Let's do that.
Steven Spielberg did this exact thing in the movie Hook. So in Never
Yeah, it was
Neverland,
terrible.
there's just happens to be like a place where they hang out that's just kind of a half pipe. And they hired a pro skater named Frankie Hill to like fucking skate every once in a while in the movie. Let me review this movie really quick, Wendell. What I hate about the movie Hook is that like they're all, oh, come on, Dad, stop always being on the phone for work, you know? Then he goes to Never Neverland. He comes back and he's batshit crazy, climbing up walls and fucking up his business deals and be like, the family's going to go bankrupt. But they're like, thank God we got Dad back.
Off the phone.
All we ever wanted was Mork.
Nanu, nanu. Nanu, nanu.
All right, Wendell, what are you reviewing?
I mean, your rewrites to Brian's movie, that sounds like 5 ice cream trucks.
Okay,
with
good.
all those tricks you're doing.
Good, we just produced a movie. We just wrote a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see this movie.
Okay.
Skate
full
I'm
charge
gonna
skate.
review-
Get it? Run, Lolo, run. Skate. That's an obscure joke, but go ahead.
I've been watching The Penguin on HBO, and
Okay.
I haven't heard you guys talk about it. Craig has
Yeah.
probably watched it since I know he's a big fan of comic books.
Religiously, yeah.
Have either of you other guys seen it? Because I figured me and Craig had seen it.
I've seen it. I love it. And I actually at the Borgata, I worked with a comedian whose girlfriend does Colin Farrell's makeup. So we are
wow.
so close to this
Okay,
production.
All right.
Yeah.
I have not seen
All
it,
right.
but Matt did say that my walk was reflective of the penguin. So I kind of feel like in some ways I'm kind of connected as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, tell your comedian friend that does the makeup, she's doing an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
It is very well done. I just caught up last night and watched the latest episode, episode 6. I believe there's going to be 8 episodes total. It is very well done. It's not some campy fucking monocle with the top hat, fucking penguin bullshit from all the other movies and TV shows and stuff. Exactly. I mean, he's an actual bad guy, and Colin Farrell is doing an amazing job. I mean, just doing great. Just amazing acting. Kristen Milotti is amazing.
Can I stop
and
you right
I
there?
recognized her, and I'm like, I had to look her up. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I know I've seen her or something, and I finally got to it. She was in The Sopranos.
She's in The
I know.
Sopranos.
Really?
She's in
Yeah.
it's a crime that she's in Wolf of Wall Street. She's Leo's first wife. And so you're so busy making a fuss over Margot Robbie that you forget that he should have just stayed with his first wife. She's beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
She's cool. She got a cool style. She's sleeper hit. What do they call that? She's low key the better woman. You don't see it, but she is.
Who was she in The Sopranos?
She's Johnny Sack's daughter. So in the final seasons of The Sopranos, Johnny Sack's in jail, and he has one daughter who's getting married, and then he has the other daughter that just kind of tags along. She's not really in it that much.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
right.
she's in a great episode. If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan. She's in a great episode of Black Mirror, the Star Trek ripoff one. She's in an HBO show called I forget. You take over, Wendell. I'm blanking.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. She was on
Made for Love.
She was on some sitcom that I never watched. My friend told me about How I Met Your Mother or one of those type of shows. I forgot.
Yeah, my wife watches that.
Yeah, I mean, I just happened to recognize her from like Wolf of Wall Street and Sopranos, but I couldn't remember where I saw her, so I had to look her up on IMDb. And like, you know, so it has a great cast. It's got Theo Rossi in there also. I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff. And Clancy Brown's another great character actor. He's in there. He plays one of the mob bosses. And of course, Michael Kelly. Dude, Michael Kelly shows up in everything these days. That dude is in every fucking show. He always plays like the fucking bad guy, CIA chief or some shit or whatever. In this one, he plays one of the mob guys. But if you look up Michael Kelly, if you don't recognize the name, you'll recognize him immediately, and you'll see that he's in every show that you're watching. Probably, like the dude's busy as fuck apparently.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It's a serious look at this actual character from the DC universe, kind of like the Joker, except not quite as dark and fucked up as the Joker.
It's more like the Sopranos. It's like got Sopranos vibes.
Right. But it's a great show, and it's 5 ice cream trucks all day long. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes, and I certainly hope there's a second season.
Well, I mean, it's the first season isn't over, is it?
No, there's 2 more episodes.
I love this new take on, because I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I love a new take on where they have like a practical reason why the Penguin limps, or like the Joker wears makeup. It actually like applies in a real world situation that Joaquin Phoenix is also a clown and a fucking stand-up comedian. Like, I like that, because when you're a kid, you're just like, oh, he's the Joker and he's the Penguin. Let's roll.
Yep.
Oh, Batman's gonna surf now? Okay.
Yeah,
this comedian Geechee Guy? Geechee Guy used to have a joke about how like those episodes where Batman goes to the beach and then Bruce Wayne shows up at the benefit and he's got a tan just around his mouth. And they're like, Bruce, what the fuck? Geechee Guy, what's up? I ain't forgot about you. All right, I think that's going to do it for the Full Charge Power Hour. Craig, thanks for hanging with us. And Wendell,
absolutely, thanks for having me.
And Bryan, thank you for being here.
Well, listen, whatever I can do, as always.
And we already thanked Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Patreon.com/The Full Charge. And we'll see you next time. Later.
Peace out, fam.
Later. Peace out.